All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Courteney Jacobazzi. We have a lot to cover, a handful of First Alert weather days. In fact, we have 5 right now, so only 2 days on the 7-day forecast without a first alert to let you know about. So clearly there's a lot happening this week in the world of weather, and we're going to get you ready for it because I know a lot of you are headed back to work and school tomorrow as well after the long holiday. Really, what was it, like almost 2 weeks with the kids on winter break, some of you taking off through New Year's, all the good things. So let's talk about this. Our freeze forecast, very high potential for a hard freeze this week. So as you're kind of thinking about the week ahead, just know that your homes need to be winterized. You want to make sure the outdoor spigots are covered. You'll probably want to drip the pipes before you go to bed this week. And of course, you'll definitely want to bundle up you and the family as you're going out to work and school this upcoming week. Now, we are going to also be watching for the potential for winter weather. Right now, any kind of accumulating snow looks most likely in the highest elevations of the mountains. Models have been going back and forth on exactly what is going to happen this upcoming weekend. Essentially, we're going to have an area of low pressure try to develop, and I'll show you what I'm talking about a little more with Futurecast in just a second. But until this low really develops, models are going to struggle on where it's going to go, but the placement of that low is key to how much winter weather we could see, who could see accumulating snow versus rain versus a wintry mix. But right now it's looking most likely that any kind of accumulating snow stays in the mountains, but we will cover that in more detail. That is our first alert weather day for Friday and Saturday, by the way. Let's take you through our first alert weather day today. You'll notice mostly cloudy, if not overcast conditions through the morning. On and off showers will be possible. Can't completely rule out a wintry mix, especially up in the higher elevations of the mountains. So up towards Fannin County, Towns Union, Rabun County. If you see some sort of kind of wintry mix, maybe some sleet up there, don't be completely surprised and caught off guard this morning. Be really careful driving on bridges and overpasses. I don't think that necessarily there's going to be ice accumulating on it, but maybe some patchy slick spots through the very early morning. By about 11, 12 o'clock, it's going to be too warm for any ice to develop, but if you're heading out within the next half hour, just be careful on bridges and overpasses this morning, just in case. Through the afternoon, scattered showers will increase in coverage, and we'll just stay unsettled through the day. On and off showers will be fairly likely through the afternoon and evening. If you have any afternoon plans, any dinner plans tonight, keep the umbrella tucked by. Wouldn't be a bad idea so you're not getting caught in the rain walking to and from your car. Overnight tonight, a cold front starts to move in, and this is going to bring heavy rain, and the wind is going to pick up. So starting around midnight, cold front starts to knock on the door of northwest Georgia. And notice temperatures. Through the overnight hours, we're actually going to start to warm up. Temperatures will be in the mid-50s around 3 o'clock. 40s north of the city, closer to 60 south of the city. Along this line, maybe a rumble of thunder. We're not expecting severe weather, but heavy rain and very gusty wind. That gusty wind could lead to trees going down, so that's something we'll be watching for you through the overnight hours. We're not looking at wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour in any, just like we see in severe storms, but we could see gusts between 30 to 35, maybe some isolated gusts as high as 40, and with the heavy rain, we have a lot of trees in this area. They've taken a beating over the last couple of weeks with all of our weather we've had. So that's something we'll be watching, something to be mindful of heading to bed tonight. Now, going into tomorrow morning, by the time you're headed out the door for the commute, if you're an early commuter around 5 o'clock, along and south of I-85 from Gainesville to Athens down to Griffin and Thomaston, showers will be possible, but temperatures, most importantly, will be dropping at this point. We're going to go from near 60 around 3 a.m. to the 40s north of the city and 50s in Atlanta. When most of you are stepping out the door tomorrow morning around 7, 8 o'clock, we are dry and temperatures continue to drop and the wind is picking up. It will be in the 30s to 40s. And notice through the afternoon, we're only looking at temperatures in the 30s. The afternoon will sit in the 30s all day tomorrow. So from late morning through the rest of the afternoon into the evening, we're in the 30s. The wind will be picking up. It will be brutally cold tomorrow. And maybe a few wraparound flurries as well. So take a look at 11 o'clock. We could have a few showers wrap around the parent low of our weather system and bring some flurries north of the city. Can't completely rule out a flake in Metro as well. So if you see a quick passing flurry pass on by within Metro Atlanta, just look at it and enjoy it. But most of this flurry activity, I can't even say snow because we won't have any accumulating snow. Most of the flurry activity will be north of the city. It will be downright cold and windy for all of us, though, on Monday. Going into Tuesday, we continue our first alert weather day because we will have a hard freeze for the forecast. Overnight lows dropping into the teens to 20s on Tuesday morning. This is at the surface what it will be. So again, that's what I mentioned. We have that really high freeze risk through most of this week. You'll want to be winterizing your homes. Think about your plants, your pets, your pipes, all the things this week. But with the wind still staying elevated into Tuesday, this is what it's going to feel like Tuesday morning. We're talking feels like temperatures Tuesday at 8 o'clock, anywhere from single digits in the mountains to teens in the city of Atlanta. That wind is going to really put a bite in the air. It is going to be, for me, what I would consider viciously cold. Now, if you are not from Georgia and you're from somewhere that is used to winter weather, you might be laughing at that, but it is going to be very, very cold, bitterly cold on Tuesday morning. So just make sure you and the family are bundling up. If your kids take the bus, they need to have every single layer on Tuesday. Their hands need to be covered. Their ears need to be covered. You need to have boots and your thick socks on Tuesday. Going into late week, this is what we're going to be watching. I mentioned we're watching a low develop in the Gulf. And very much like tropical systems, until we know where that low develops and where it starts, we don't know where it's going to finish. So this low hasn't developed yet. So it's going to be difficult to really fine-tune this forecast and give you a sure answer until this low develops. And we will understand more Wednesday and Thursday, of course, naturally, the exact picture, but we can at least give you what we are thinking just looking at trends and what we know right now. So a low will develop in the Gulf. Meanwhile, a cold front will be pushing into the plains. That low is going to try to move inland, but that front's going to push it. So the big question is, how far south does that front push the low developing in the Gulf? The further south it goes, the more Gulf moisture we have to work with, the better chance for that transition of our precipitation to turn into something wintry rather than just rain. Going into Friday afternoon, though, we will have that potential for maybe a wintry mix in the city of Atlanta with some snow showers beginning in the mountains, most of us dealing with rain. But then watch as this front passes on by. The parent low pressure system will wrap in some moisture, and that could lead to maybe some snow showers even into Saturday morning for parts of Metro. Models have been going back and forth on how much snow, who will see snow. But right now, what I think we're looking at is more so a rain for Metro Atlanta, especially south of the city. Maybe a wintry mix and some ice possible. Arguably, ice is going to be one of the bigger concerns because temperatures are going to hover in the 30s Friday all the way into Saturday, and at times they will go below that freezing mark. So as rain is falling, especially on those higher bridges and overpasses, if that falls and hits a freezing surface, that turns into ice. So patchy ice, I think, will be an issue for Metro Atlanta as of right now. Maybe a light dusting of snow, especially for North Metro. I think that's possible right now. So the potential to actually see at least some sort of light accumulation is possible within the metro area. The mountains, though, have the best chance of seeing any kind of accumulating snow, but some wintry mix and ice will also be possible there, something we'll be watching. So, again, best chance for any kind of accumulating snow, I think, will be in the mountains. For Metro Atlanta, we're really looking at rain, especially south of the city, with a wintry mix possible from Atlanta off to the north, maybe also some patchy ice, especially on higher bridges and overpasses, and then a light dusting of snow will be possible for North Metro as well. So we're talking like northern Cobb into Cherokee County, Bartow County, into parts of Gwinnett County. That's where I think we could be seeing maybe a light dusting of snow, but a lot to fine tune. It is all dependent on a feature that hasn't even developed yet right now. So we'll be watching very carefully through this week, and we will update you on every single model change and every single forecast change that we see throughout the week, but definitely a forecast to pay attention to late week. It could very well, of course, impact your ability to your work and school at the end of the week. Now, I'm not saying that that's a sure bet yet, so don't go, already preparing to not show up, but we'll be watching really carefully for that winter weather potential late week as it is looking increasingly likely we'll at least see some sort of winter weather on Friday and Saturday. Here's a look at that first alert 7-day forecast. So today, near 50 on and off showers will increase in coverage through the afternoon. Temperatures warm through the overnight. That's why you see that 57 on the bottom there, and then a 38 will be a high tomorrow. So temperatures hover in the 30s most of the day Monday. That rain clearing by your morning commute, a few flurries possible, especially north of the city. A stray flake could roll through Metro, though, tomorrow. And then a hard freeze Tuesday morning. It'll feel more like the single digits to teens Tuesday morning. Highs only in the upper 30s to low 40s. We stay very cold in the mornings. Highs only in the upper 30s to low 40s through Thursday. And then all eyes on that first alert weather day for Friday and Saturday, as, again, we'll have another weather system that could very well bring the chance for winter weather, maybe a wintry mix, maybe some accumulating snow in the mountains. A lot to fine-tune in that forecast as we go through the next several days. So stay here with the First Alert team. We are going to continue to give you updates on everything that you need to know as we go through this week, any changes to the forecast, and, of course, more on that winter weather potential. So enjoy the day today. It's going to be one of the most mild days this week before a big drop in temperatures. Make sure you and the family are ready for the cold, especially as you go back to work and school this week, and have that First Alert weather app handy for the most recent updates on any changes to the forecast. All right, now we have a lot to cover in the news world, of course, so I'm going to send it on over to Atlanta News First anchor Joy Lim-Nakrin to get you updated on all of the day's top stories.
Thank you so much, Courtney.
Sorry, I forgot I had a box.
No, not at all. Thank you so much, Courtney. We're changing of the guard behind the scenes here. We've got some stuff going on back here, but thank you so much for being with us on this Sunday morning. And we continue to follow the remembrances for the late former President Jimmy Carter, and here in Atlanta at the Carter Center, we have been actually showing you a live view, and you can watch really at any time on our secondary stream. So just want to let you know you can tune in, and I also want to let you know just about some of the details in terms of paying your respects if you would like to do that. But as you look here at this video of the former president, 1 week after he died at the age of 100 in his hometown of Plains, he's lying in repose at the Carter Center. For the entire time that former President Carter is lying in state, you can see the U.S. military and is going to maintain a guard of honor to protect him as he is laid to rest, until he's laid to rest. And there was overnight the service members tasked with guarding Mr. Carter, holding a changing of the guard ceremony. The guard of honor will also stand by Mr. Carter when he lies in repose at the U.S. Capitol a little bit later this week as well. And I just want to let you know you can come and see him at any point in time until 6 a.m. Tuesday morning at the Carter Center as he lies in repose. You can go and pay your respects, as many others have. And if you do decide to do that, one of the things I want to let you know is you cannot park there at the Carter Center. You're going to have to take MARTA. So it's something definitely you want to plan for. The good news is that MARTA is providing free bus rides from King Memorial Station. Bus shuttles will be departing from that station every 5 minutes around the clock. And we're also told ADA compliant mobility services will run every 15 to 20 minutes, but those customers would have to call MARTA for a reservation. We've been speaking with people who traveled upwards of 15 hours just to come and pay their respects. A lot of mourners sharing with Atlanta News First what this opportunity means for them.
During the 2016 election, I feel like that's when our politics in America started to kind of change for the worst. But then I found Jimmy Carter and started researching him, and that kind of gave me hope for the future and moving forward. So I'm hoping that moving forward, people take Jimmy Carter's legacy and they follow through with it. And I'm hoping our politicians look at his legacy and go, let's be more like Jimmy.
And of course, beloved and remembered by so many. And, again, you are invited to go and pay your respects at the Carter Center, where Mr. Carter is laying in repose through 6 a.m. on Tuesday morning. But you got to plan accordingly. Important to note the parking lot there at the Carter Center is closed. So again, between now and Tuesday morning, MARTA says, aside from biking or walking, that's really the only way to get to the Carter Center, but certainly worthwhile to pay your respects.
Honor, go! Attention!
Who doesn't love Jimmy Carter in his heart?
I did babysit Amy when I was in high school in 1974. As I was babysitting Amy, fun times, and then to babysit Maggie, the granddaughter Margaret, was just good times, just family time.
I'm hoping that moving forward, people take Jimmy Carter's legacy and they follow through with it. And I'm hoping our politicians look at his legacy and go, let's be more like Jimmy.
We came from Paris, Texas. It's very important that the younger people learn what is to look up to, what the things we should admire in people. And there is no way that such a guiding light can go out and I couldn't come pay my respects. He's meant a lot to me my whole life.
Having met the president, having that connection to him, and then actually getting to be in this moment in history and to live it.
So I came here. Sorry. He's one of the great presidents as well as a great humanitarian. I think he represents a good model of what a leader, a true leader should be. He took the time to help other people less fortunate, even in other countries. He cared about other people in general, regardless of where you're from or what you look like. He was very, he had those good values, good people values.
And, as we've been sharing with you, we are carrying the live images as Mr. Carter lies in repose on our secondary stream. And I'm just showing you this live image, and you can hear for yourself and you can see for yourself as mourners come just to pay their respects. And, I've shared with you some of the details about how to do that. If you want to get a little more information, you can text the word Carter to 470-777-WANF, and that way we'll actually send a link directly to your phone with information about what you need to know if you would like to pay your respects to the late former President Jimmy Carter, and go and just say your final farewell. Of course, we'll continue our complete coverage here on Atlanta News First and Atlanta News First Plus. I want to transition to another story that we have been following as well. And a MARTA bus driver was murdered in Decatur. Really a tragic story, and it's prompting renewed calls for change. MARTA police have already arrested 2 suspects, charging both of those juveniles now with murder. So it's still a lot of questions about exactly what happened here. And something that we're continuing to follow up on as more details emerge in the investigation here. But right now, we know that investigators are still searching for the alleged shooter, despite arresting 2 suspects. We also know that the 47-year-old victim, we're learning more about his life and who he is. His name was Leroy Ramos, and he was the man who lost his life Friday night in that downtown Decatur station shooting. And the bus operator had apparently only been working for MARTA since October, actually recently moved to Atlanta from New York for work partly. And he now leaves behind a wife, 2 daughters, and a 7-year-old son. So now we are hearing from one of the nation's largest transit workers unions, who's calling it a senseless act of violence. They're demanding better protection for transit workers and in riders. And I should add that a bystander was hit by one of the ricocheting bullets and was taken to a nearby hospital as well. I want to point you to another top story that we're following here on Atlanta News First and Atlanta News First Plus, which is the shooting at the Mall of Georgia. One person is now in the hospital after this shooting. It happened just before 9:30 last night, and Gwinnett County Police say that an officer working security heard the shots and immediately ran towards them. Officers were able to catch one person who was apparently trying to run off from the scene, and they say one person was taken to police headquarters for questioning. Investigators still searching for anyone who saw or heard anything about the shooting. So anyone with information, if you know anything about this Mall of Georgia shooting, I wanted to share some information with you. Gwinnett County Police are asking you to call the Crime Stoppers line, which is 404-577-TIPS, or you can visit the website, stopcrimeatl.com. And we also have that on the link in that story that I just showed you on atlantanewsfirst.com. You can see this information of the number that you could call if you know anything about this shooting, or that website you see right here, stopatlcrime.com. Again, they're trying to put together anything they can to solve this shooting. And just to let you know, tipsters can receive a cash reward for information leading to an arrest or an indictment in this case. Now, thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm going to return you back to Local News Live.